All right, now let's talk about this pastor who sexually abused and impregnated two of his daughters and got 140 years in jail. The 51-year-old Akurino pastor John Kishini was convicted on his own plea of guilt. The devil reigning on earth and making people to sin. I sinned, but I'm remorseful and I will be very happy if I'm pardoned. Sorry, it was my first time to commit such a crime in my life. Would you pardon him?
No.
No.
Because it would set a precedence where you do something, then you apologize, and then that's it.
He impregnated them. You do understand?
Nani watoto wake.
And they're two daughters.
I get it.
So
Watoto wake.
you know wanasamanga.
I get it. I know the story.
So you can ask for pardon and be like, oh, you know, once I did. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, but
And then
a
it's
woman,
also
so
moja. It's two of
mine is
them.
just very different. When I say what I think
You
should
would
happen
do.
Should
Yeah.
be done.
people who are
But you
involved
see,
in these
even
things. So.
even that solution will not stop the person from being the person.
knew the
that they
solution I'm
are.
talking
Yeah,
about.
I can
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have an idea in my
It
head.
has- it
Yes,
goes all to
I
the-
know, especially
does.
in India, that is always
It does.
the way to go.
Yeah.
But ile kitu ilinijaz, I know there's nothing funny, there's nothing pleasant, there's nothing hilarious about this story, but nilibambika sana wakati judge alimsomea scriptures akimhukumu.
Kwa sababu as a pastor,
Yes.
I'm using the same book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, hiyo kitu ilinifurahisha yangu yote.
Even in
Nisema,
your own-
huyu judge, huyu ni ule judge alikuwa ameandikwa kwa the book of Judges. Kabisa, kabisa.
I'm judging you by the rule of the
Yes.
land and the
Yeah.
rule you practice.
This is what you preach. Give
Yeah.
me what you preach.
Exactly.
I see. So
Even
this is
what
what
you
it
preach
says.
says this.
So kula 70 kwanza hapo hivyo ya mmoja. Kula 70 juu ya mwingine. Si ndio unaambiaga watu?
I'm sure, sometimes I say, and this is my own personal opinion, I stand to be corrected, that sometimes I start thinking that the people who practice religion, whichever religion it is,
The most pious of
the
them, right?
most of them are the ones who don't believe in it.
It shocks me.
Not really believing in
It
it.
shocks me.
But
Or practice
they
the
put
complete
practice in it, yes.
opposite.
They use it. They
Yeah.
use it.
You cannot not practice it if you believe it. So if you are telling me I shouldn't do it because you believe in it, then you shouldn't do it.
yourself.
Because you know, look at the stories. How many stories do we hear about in pastors and Catholics
Yeah.
and even sheikhs?
Yes.
You know, you hear so many stories, and then the worst part is, parents, family members will hide and cover the story,
Yep.
especially
Because this
if
is
it
a man of the
involves-
cloth.
because you revere him,
Yes.
right?
They
And
call it social authority. You have raised this person to some level of social standards.
Hata
where-
hutaki kuamini, by the way. You put it
Exactly.
beyond them.
And then
Yes.
the worst part is in some parts of the world, and including even here in Kenya, you are made to marry the perpetrator, especially like in instances where you fall pregnant
Yeah.
and you're heavy with child, and they say, sasa mato
Itabidi.
itabidi, we discuss
But
family.
you're going to the monster. You're going back to the
I know,
monster
and
to
can you
stay
imagine
there.
how crazy that is for the young girl? How traumatic that is to relive that experience
With your own father.
Imagine it's the worst possible thing. As a parent, Mato, you are the one who can also talk about this now. As a dad, the one person who's supposed to protect you is your parent.
Yes.
Yes.
And if that one very person who you look to for
The first
protection
line
is
of
the
defense
one,
is down.
oh
Yes.
man, it just it
What's
completely
the
breaks my
world then?
heart.
What's the world
And
then?
then some of these stories, it happens over time. Like
Yeah.
for years he was defiling us. For
Yeah.
years he
Ni
was
venye
doing
ameshi-
this.
ameshikwa sahi.
Yeah.
And this
Haijaanza sahi.
this was not
Exactly.
even a story of a bad pastor. It was just a story of a bad person. Human being. As a
Yeah,
person,
yeah.
you were just...
That's just terrible. And then you see individuals who are abused often at times when they grow up because of the kind of experiences they went through,
Yep.
they start repeating these things.
Exactly.
So even,
Hurt
and I'm
people
not in
hurt
any way, shape
people.
or form
Yeah.
excusing, of course, R. Kelly, but when you read about his history, it
Yeah.
repeats itself.
Yeah.
This was
Yeah.
done unto him,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so now he repeats
doing
the
it
same
to
thing.
others.
Hurt people.
It just makes